All right, and we're back. Let me do this before I forget again. Dun 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 dun. Just the science of fiction. Just the context inflicted. Just surrender to relapse. Just the serpent recycled. Just that cursed apple. Yeah, I'm trying to sing this like a heavy metal dude, but I'm also not trying to scream right now. But you get the idea of how the riff goes and everything. I'm not sure, but it's a cool tempo change because from the verse and the chorus, it's kind of waltzy. So I think this is kind of a time change and a tempo change. Just the science of fiction. I think it just counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a different time signature than the verse and chorus. I think it's a good bridge that kind of leads to after you sing just that cursed apple, and then you could get real heavy with guitar solos, and that's one thing I won't try to mimic because I've done that in the past where I'm like, oh, this will be a cool guitar solo, wham, 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 and I sound like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So, yeah, again, people who actually play music with other people, whoever the lead guitarist, just do your thing and come up with a cool solo there. And from that solo, you go into the last verse, and I feel like the last verse should be slowed down, very minimal music, maybe just the bass line playing to make it more dramatic and like the last thing I'm going to sing or whatever. The enemy of an enemy, do do do, like the shadow of a fallacy, do 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 do, alchemy of the thinking man, do do do, golden animal, do 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 do. I'm already forgetting how the riffs go, so this might be the most complicated song on this because you do have to memorize different riffs and, well, it's two different time signatures, so it's not that complicated. But I feel like it could work as a heavy metal song. It's a tribute to Led Zeppelin. Like, what was that? Tenacious D? They did one too, right? This is just a tribute. Maybe I'll share that song too. But this is a tribute to the type of music that Led Zeppelin inspired. I never got into Hawkwind or Dio or the 80s metal. I've never really gotten into hair metal. Just a couple albums like Operation Mindcrime and Metallica, of course, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets. Other than like a couple examples, I don't know a lot of heavy metal. Megadeth, I got no idea. Sepultura, no idea. It's not that I wouldn't enjoy it. I just Slayer. I think I tried to listen to Slayer in high school, and back then I was just into fast punk rock stuff. All I wanted to listen to was No Effects and Bad Religion and Offspring and Green Day. So when I put on Slayer, I'm like, this is just too dark and crazy for me. But there's no doubt it's powerful music, or even Pantera. I remember getting Far Beyond Driven and maybe Cowboys from Hell from a friend, and I just didn't connect with it. That's not to say if I listened to it today, I wouldn't like it. I just didn't really like that stuff back then. Even Nine Inch Nails got a little bit too morbid for me. But I would have to revisit Nine Inch Nails because I think I'd like it more today. It's like March Advance, like that song is absolutely incredible. So there are a couple of tracks from Nine Inch Nails that completely just blow you away. I would have to revisit their catalog because I think I did that a couple years ago. I wanted to pick a Nine Inch Nails album to include on my favorite albums, and I think the one I picked was actually an ambient album that he did later, like in 2020 something. So it's cool he still makes music, whether it's ambient or for soundtracks and stuff like that. And that's basically the whole song. I think that's everything. After you sing the golden animal, you just go back into some jam session and fade out. And that takes you to song number 7. Song number 7, I feel like it would blend in from this track, but I won't go into it until tomorrow because I don't want to do like rush through this stuff. I want to talk it out where my inspirations are coming from. That's the beauty of doing something like this, is that my goal is to actually make these into songs, or to sell these songs to an actual band or form a band. Somehow I want to turn these digital blueprints into a song you could actually rock out to. And the beauty of making these videos is to give me a direction, because I've done this for like, man, well, I haven't done every song I've ever written like this, but I do have recordings of every song, and it's well over 500 at this point, maybe more at this point, because I keep writing songs over the last few months. I'll have to add it up maybe later today and see how many songs I've actually written in my life. But I think it's well over 500 at this point. But anyway, yeah, I would like to do this for every song, at least to give an idea to myself or other people of what I'm going for with these tracks. Whether I want to sell this song to someone or do it myself somehow. Of course, it's harder to do it myself because I can barely get through this singing like I'm singing it today. And yeah, I'm not going to start doing things to increase my testosterone to get like a deeper, more masculine, more aggressive tone, whether I do heavy metal, punk rock, or hip hop stuff, rap stuff. I just want to keep it to who I really am. Not to say, I think working out is something I'm neglecting from my life right now. I haven't been exercising and doing stuff like that, but I'm trying to do a new diet right now, so I'm kind of weird. I'm trying to just eat every other day, like the intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting. I've only done it for maybe a week, but I'm experimenting with that, so my body's kind of getting used to it. Because I feel like that's a way I could prolong my life and live as long as possible. That's what kind of made me go this direction. But really, I fasted for 3 days a couple weeks ago, and that got me back into fasting mood to research that stuff, and that's where I am right now, to get to a more balanced, disciplined approach. But that's another conversation, I guess. The reason I wanted to do this song right now was because I just ate. I didn't eat yesterday, but I just had a big meal now, and I had some energy to do this. It's a different feeling on an empty stomach or after you eat, because I did a song last night, and I felt myself getting like losing my train of thought easier. So yeah, a lot of people say when they perform as a musician, they don't eat before, because maybe that does something to your blood levels or your sugar. I don't know, your blood pressure, your anxiety. A lot of people say that they don't eat anything before they perform or sing. They'll just drink tea and stuff like that. But the point of doing this and getting these songs out there isn't to perform it professionally. Perfectionally. I just created a word, perfectionally. I'm not trying to do this song, sing it professionally right now. I'm just trying to give myself a framework and a blueprint of how I would want this song to be produced. And basically, all the elements are there. Maybe I'm learning to develop a drummer's brain a little because I do hear drums in this one. Drumming is a really important part of Led Zeppelin, definitely. People consider him like one of the best drummers, and even Black Sabbath. I'm not good with names. I don't know the name of the drummer. All right, let me look it up. I'm not going to pretend to know. Who was the drummer of Black Sabbath? I should know this because I know it's somebody famous. Like, who was the drummer for Black Sabbath? I never heard of this guy, actually. Bill Ward is the original iconic drummer of Black Sabbath. Well, sorry, Bill Ward. I didn't give you credit, man. I've heard of the other guy, actually. I listened to a podcast with him, Vinny Appice. He's like from New Jersey or something. He came later. But Bill Ward is the original iconic drummer, co-founder of Black Sabbath, renowned for his jazz style and his power that defined early heavy metal. Key member from 68 to 1984. But I've heard of Vinny Appice, actually. I never heard of Cozy Powell. But yeah, big respect to Bill Ward, Black Sabbath. That's some of my favorite like percussion elements. So yeah, maybe drummers don't get enough respect. Like definitely. Because I never heard this guy's name. All you know is the front man, who was Queen's drummer, no idea. Who was Pink Floyd's drummer? I even forget that. And Pink Floyd's like my favorite band, probably. Is it Mason? Pink Floyd drummer. Yeah, Nick Mason. All right, so I kind of knew that one. But, well, Bonham, right? Led Zeppelin was John Bonham. Yeah, so there's a couple names I know. Keith Moon. But a lot of times it's just the front man, you know Freddie Mercury, but you don't know who was Queen's drummer. No idea. Who was Queen's drummer? Roger Taylor. All right. See, I don't know stuff like that, but he even co-wrote Radio Gaga. Yeah, I guess that's why people in the 70s learned more about bands because they had the record cover to look at while they're listening to the music or rolling up their joints. They could read all the members of the band and learn that stuff, especially for jazz. Like I watch videos with jazz heads that fit that style of jazz people, and they just can mention names like they have it all memorized. This guy played with this guy back in '67 in New York, and then he went to Cleveland and met up with him, and they got like the jazz scene's probably the most complicated. But yeah, it's tough. I'm not trying to fake my fake my way through this. I don't know names that well. Even John Bonham, I kind of forgot. But even the dude from Rush, he's considered one of the best drummers. I never really looked at music and just focus on the drums, so I'm not the right person to really discuss drumming, but I really do like Black Sabbath in terms of the drums. I really like it. I think it's some of the best drumming. If I had to pick some of my favorite drum albums, it would be those early Black Sabbath albums. And Led Zeppelin too, yeah, definitely. And yeah, so maybe the point of this talk right now is how drummers are underappreciated. And maybe I'll just cut it here so I don't talk for too much longer. Anyway, yesterday I thanked Stevie Wonder, so today we'll be thanking Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and people who continue that tradition of either stoner rock, acid rock, psychedelic rock, because there's elements of that in Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. The only critical I'm critical of heavy metal. That's like that, just that dark doom death metal stuff. And I know they're all different genres, like black metal, dark metal, death metal. There's so many different genres. Scandinavian metal. I don't know, man. I don't like it when it's just the blah, 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 blah. Like just that demonic chanting, or I don't know. Sometimes it works, but most of the time I get just tired of it within a couple songs. It's not really melodic to me. But I will mention one more band, and I'll include them. Um, the bands that I'll share today, I'll find a Led Zeppelin song, I'll find a Black Sabbath song, and yeah, I'm a basic person, man. But there was, they're the two of the most well known bands of all time. So, and Stevie Wonder yesterday. But these are good artists to get inspired by. I'm not ashamed to just pick. People will say I'm a simp because I'm just listening to like the most popular bands. But I'll include another one that maybe some people haven't heard of, Mama Leak, Mama Leek. I think they're from California. Mama Leak from San Francisco, founded by two anonymous brothers. Hmm. But they had an album. When I heard of them, it was from Vida Blue from 2024. And there's some weird screaming in this too, because that's what made me think of it. I just said I hate that screaming, demonic chanting stuff. But they implement that too. But their music is just so out there that it makes it more interesting. Um, so check that out. I'll share a song from Vida Blue, and that's the only album I've listened. But I'll have to go through their catalog because they have maybe one, two. They have 8 albums and a couple EPs. So I'll have to go through their catalog one day. Very interesting band. They're called Mama Leak. It's supposedly black metal, but there's psychedelic elements, there's electronic elements, jazz elements, Middle Eastern elements. One magazine, Stereo Board, said they're a band like no other. Portishead playing lo-fi metal. Portishead playing lo-fi metal. So that sounds like a band, if I read that, I'd be interested in. So check them out. I'll link maybe a couple songs from them, or from the only album I've heard is the Vida Blue. So I'll have to pick one of my favorite songs from that. Vida Blue, I think that's the name of the pitcher who pitched a no-hitter on LSD. If Am I making that up? No, it wasn't. I don't know what Vida Blue was. That's Doc Ellis. I don't know why they called it Vida Blue. That's kind of odd. Why did Mama Leak? Maybe they just liked him. Why did Mama Leak name their album Vida Blue? For some reason, I thought that was a guy who pitched a no-hitter on LSD. That was Doc Ellis, though. I actually named a song after him, I think. Or maybe I didn't, I forget now. But there was a documentary on Amazon about that story. I guess he didn't think he was going to pitch that day, so he took a bunch of LSD, and then he had a pitch, and he pitched a no-hitter, but I think he walked like 10 batters still. But still, it was a no-hitter, so that's pretty amazing. They should make a movie about that. Mama Leak named their 2024 album Vida Blue to honor the late Oakland A's legend Vida Blue, using his legacy as a metaphor for loss, memory, and hometown nostalgia. All right, one of their band members died, so I think that's why they did that. So there is a meaning to it. I guess they're from that area. They're from San Francisco, Oakland area. But yeah, check that out. If you never heard Mama Leak, that's a type of heavy metal that instantly connected to me because it's so avant-garde and different than just loud riffy stuff. And I guess I'll cut this here. Tomorrow, Thursday, I'll have to go through the next song, Don't Fear the Pacifist. This is more of a hardcore punk song. So, like I said, this album is all over the place in terms of the genre. And I'll finish this album on Friday with the Wilco track in A Little Brick House. But yeah, go listen to some Mama Leak today. Give them some love. Since Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, they probably get plenty of Spotify plays, making like a fraction of a penny every play, whatever it is. And yeah, that's about it. Tomorrow will be song 7, Don't Fear the Pacifist, and go from there and finish this album by Friday. I really do enjoy the lyrics so far. Like, I don't really praise my lyrics ever, but I really like the lyrics on the last 2 songs especially. And I wrote these pretty quickly. I had 4 songs done and then I had 4 others to do, and I just wrote them all in like an hour. Sometimes I get manic and it's a good thing. Sometimes I get manic and I'll just doodle nonsense and it's a total waste of time. Sometimes I'll get manic, write terrible songs, but sometimes it does work where I'm unable to function unless I finish this. But I'm spacing this one out because I want to work on other stuff. And other stuff will take up more of my time than doing this right now. But hopefully you enjoyed this, even if you're not a fan of heavy metal, because I'm not either. Seriously, I don't really love heavy metal. I don't know if there's any heavy metal concert that I would look forward to going to. I'm more a shoegaze guy or no wave, that type of music that's just avant-garde. I'm not really into the goth scene too much. I don't really stay up to date with gothic music. Although there were a couple shoegaze albums from years ago that had elements of gothic stuff. So you can find that in different genres as well. But that's basically everything. Hopefully you get a better idea. I had to split this up into 3 audio files because I was forgetting how the riffs went and everything. So other than that, hopefully you enjoyed this. And it gives you an idea of where my brain's at for this song. Not just for this song, but for the entire album. Last thing, when I finish the last song, I'll make another post of this entire album on one post so you can read through all the lyrics together. And I'll include the skits on that one. Like I said in the first recording, I wrote 4 skits, kind of like influenced by Eminem and Dr. Dre, to kind of lead the storyline to this. Because it is like a movie playing in my head, but it's not very complicated or interesting. It's just a guy driving across the country. So it's not like a crazy interesting, you can't really make a movie out of the stuff I'm thinking about, but I had to devise some kind of concept and that's just what I went with. And yeah, I guess that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this.